I'm building something real, and I want to document my journey on how I'm doing it, and also bring everyone along to show you the real journey, because I think that a lot of people don't really understand the full process of what actually goes into a business and running a business. So it's not here to show you to say, oh, look at me doing this and this. It's to show you the real reality of running a business. I'll start with my business. So going back to 3 years ago, I started a marketing agency called Marketize. And for me, I must have been 3 years ago was about year 9, I think, which was 15 years old. So yeah, about 14, 15 years old. And I think it was when I first saw online all these people make money. I just thought, how accessible is that for anyone to do? I then went on to do some more research into it and sort of picked one of the first businesses that I saw out there because I just wanted to get started and stuck in. I always liked the idea of, working on something or working on a business, especially an online business, as you can just make money from behind your screen. I think the reality for it for me was that I also did try so many other things that I suppose I didn't really give marketing a proper go. I was trying copywriting, even filling out their surveys for money online, and it's all this stuff behind it that no one else sees. So anyway, I tried the marketing agency of a friend of mine, and at the beginning, you have that motivation to go at it. Yeah, let's do it full time. Let's fully go at it. Our weekends were spent cold calling. There's a lot of people saying no, and that's just part of it. But we did end up signing our first client. Well, so we thought, and we had that sort of first hurdle, I suppose. We were calling coffee shops in the area, and issue with calling coffee shops is that if I was running their marketing agency, if I was running their marketing, I'm bringing them £2.50 per lead. So it's not a big pot to take from. And that was sort of one of the first lessons in business that I learnt. So with all those cold calls and potentially signing the first client, it was very demotivating to then, it was only been a few weeks after that we had got this first client in the pipeline, for them to turn around and say, oh, I'll hand you over to our marketing partner, which, that's sort of the whole idea why we were calling them, because we were going to be their marketing partner. We didn't really have any skills. We were learning along the way. It was one of those things that you start, and I suppose you learn as you go forward with the clients, which probably isn't correct, but if we're willing to work on a commission basis, I think it is probably one of the best ways to learn, is just by getting yourself out there and doing it. And especially nowadays with all this AI, this was sort of when it was, I don't know if it was out, I don't think it was, or it's pretty newly out. It might have been actually, but it was quite new, I think. Anyway, so after that, it sort of demotivated us, and we sort of took a step back from it. And then we had GCSEs, and life just got in the way, really. We ended up not doing anything for the next year or so, year and a half. And then we thought, how about we create a community called Club 729? And this is when it really started, and no one really understands how long ago Club 729 did start. And so it started a good year or two ago, about a year ago now. And I decided to create a community for young people who want to make money or have these skills online that want to network together. And we created this community for young people, and that's where I met Owen, which is my current web designer and developer. And, I saw some real potential in him. Going back to that quickly, I'll say I ran this group with no real business myself, so I sort of contradicted the group of, having that skill, but I really like the idea of business and running my own business, and didn't really have a skill as such to sell, software development, or a real high income skill there that I can leverage. My real skills were from running a business. So anyway, I think I go back to about a year ago today, so probably it must have been end of 2024, beginning of 2025. And one of my family members was wanting a website for the bowls club, the local bowls club. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got a community of young people. I know someone who does web design. I can then, let you know his number, give you all the details, pass on clients that way. And then it sort of hit me that there's two sides of a business. There's getting in the clients and running the business, and then there's the actual skill. So from then on, I spoke to Owen, my current developer, and we spoke about a partnership, about how I can bring in the leads and do all the business side, and he can actually do the skill and do the performance side of the business. So from then, I then spoke to the Bowls Club, and nothing in the end came from that. We had a long back and forth after a couple months, but it wasn't necessarily demotivating for me because it brought something a lot bigger to my business, and I'm quite thankful, because if that never happened, then I'd never be here today with this business now. So that's sort of where my business started. We develop into a web design agency mainly, and I sort of don't still see my real results. I don't really push it till May. Then we start sort of end of May, start to get our first proper clients in June, July and August. There are 3 months where, the web design starts to take off. Then we fast forward, get running ads, everything like that. And we sort of starting to see consistent clients. It was till recently, I say recently, literally a couple of weeks ago, beginning of February, that I've decided to take a step back to hopefully take 2 steps forward in the space. With all this AI coming along, it's important that we do enhance it and use it, and we can leverage it and sell it. So rather than just watching it whilst continuing our websites, it's how we match AI with a website to then have greater results and be able to get a higher profit at the end of the day. So I made a decision to stop running the ads for the web design, which has put income at a stop for now, if I'm completely honest, with the hopes that our new offer does better. So going back to my business, all stemmed from starting at the Bowls Club. We've done a lot along the way, and now to today where I'm starting my new software idea, which is basically where we match an appointment setter, we create an AI appointment setter and match it with a website funnel to then basically give our clients more quality leads, and it improves their close rates, which equals in generating them more money. It means they won't have to spend that time manually messaging these DMs back. So, it really does help these businesses go from the 5, 10k a month to the 15, 20, 30, 40k a month. And it systemizes their business. It's not just about helping out. It's about how can we put systems in place for businesses so they can focus on other things. And that is the biggest thing for us. So that is sort of our new offer. And I'm not scared to, show the journey and show what's going to go on behind the scenes, because I think it's important, as we grow, as Club 729 grows, to show the journey of it's not just simple. It's not just all this good stuff that people see, when people ask, how's it doing? And I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's the behind the scenes that no one really sees. And I think online as well, it doesn't get shown enough, but the behind the scenes, the actual graft of it, how many hours do you actually put in? This is a difficult time for me as well, because I'm currently doing this alongside college, and I've got college exams coming up soon, and that's sort of where I have to step back from it almost to delay this to then focus on my college exams, which is annoying, because I suppose you're putting money, you're literally throwing away money that could be in your pocket to then do some exams, but you've got to look at it from the bigger picture at the end of the day. So that's sort of my outlook on it, get through these exams, and then, I do what I like after that. So anyway, so then I'll move on to Club 729, and this is a community for young people who make money or starting to make money. I just want people that are serious about making money in there, and I can tell, when I speak to them, how serious they are. it's not necessarily, they don't need to be making, 10 to 15, even 5k a month. It just helps when they've got that motivation behind them to actually push on forwards. And it also helps when they can give value, to the rest of the community. We're planning a couple trips this year with the community, which should be good. So hopefully we'll get at least one in, and hopefully grow it to a point where it's a network of people. I don't want it to become one of those paid. I don't want it to be seen as a course or anything. I'm not trying to sell anything. All I'm trying to do is bring people together who have the same vision and work towards the same goals. Because I do feel like if you surround yourself with the right people, you can then, push yourself even more. It keeps people accountable. So Club 729 at the minute, we run a call every other week, and we have topics to discuss. That's really, really key. I think our last one was about like mindset. There's future ones on, marketing, different outreach, sales, like people, how basically it just discusses how people do stuff differently in each business. There's a few businesses which are the same, but most of them are different, which is important because I might then go to someone who goes to marketing now and say, oh, you do email marketing, how's that going? And, they might say their success rate in it, and I would have never thought, email marketing would do that well. So, and then I can implement it in my business and see how it does. That's sort of the main point of it, to network, to also pass clients around. I've passed many clients around the community and have people that want services from me that I don't necessarily offer. And rather than me just saying yes to everything, it's quite nice for me to be able to pass it on to someone that I know and can trust can deliver on their service. So that's basically Club 729, and it's still growing. It's still work in progress. I'm managing college. As part of my college, we do placements. So I'm up in London twice a week, alongside exams, alongside, Club 729, and alongside, I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, my business. So there's a lot there that I'm juggling around, and now I'm on top of that. I'm trying to create content for it, which hasn't been my biggest priority at the minute, because I feel like those others are so much more important. But for me to push Club 729, I do really need to start thinking about content and getting my work out there. And I do think it's a good place. I've met so many people online that have a good personal brand, and they're saying if they didn't have that personal brand, then I probably wouldn't have connected with them and messaged them. So, it does open up a lot of opportunities. But yeah, so that's sort of a bit about myself and my current situation and where I'm at, and a bit of an explanation about everything I do. If you're interested in getting involved in Club 729, it's for serious people who actually want to try and make money online. And, I do want to help people at some point. I want to get it to a point where, this community does dig deep into each individual business, and where, hopefully find the weaknesses in it, and to support businesses and systems. It'd be great to get Club 729 to a point where we can offer systems and softwares in place to help businesses start, maybe, or help businesses who are already developed, because we can create softwares like lead gen softwares, things that systemize businesses, and we can integrate that into the community, and that's a part of the community. Then it helps everyone in the community to improve their business at the end of the day. So that's sort of everything I wanted to cover today. And if you have any questions, then drop me a message and drop me a DM. And I look forward to continuing this journey and documenting it on the way.